Have you seen the video where the people with the clipboard asked a group of kids a line of questions instructing them to either take steps up or take steps back according to the answers on their race, their family situation, their handy capabilities? The whole point is the sociological push towards what is now so famously billed as DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a propaganda video to illustrate the intersectional hierarchy. I have also attended both government and big blue chip companies' HR programs which attempt to create a morality without the mention of God or Bible, or that morality actually has a definition there. So what seems to be a political opener for a biblical topic, it's deeper and dirtier from my God-centered perspective. DEI and politics are all working hard to create something that God has already spoken on, namely morality, how to treat other people fairly and how to be kind, but also more out of phase with our secular world to value truth, purity, spiritual disciplines, and so on. There's a tension between secular world and the Christian worldview. There are criticisms going both ways, and some of them hold up. Neither one are exactly making the world as it should be. So, what are the big ticket items of true justice that would really make the world aright? Is there any hope for the world besides an eschatological destruction of all of it, which is premillennialism? Or does God have a heavy leaning on his people standing up and doing the right thing, making the Uber society arise over time, which is postmillennialism? How is it that God is going to make all this mess get straightened out? That's what the leveling topic is all about. Somehow we can draw strength from knowing that the Lord definitely does care about the way things are going. He has a stake in it, just like he has a stake in the way that we treat each other, whether we have forgiveness for the people who have done us wrong or don't we. Doesn't it make you feel kind of good knowing that anything that is left undone, that God has the power and the will and actually the plan to make everything right? That's what this topic is all about. Specifically in Isaiah, we have only a few verses, but they are very strong representatives of this essence of this topic. And this is a friendly reminder that while we may be compiling our own version in our minds of a systematic theology, only one instance of a theological truth can sway the whole ship. So the first is in Isaiah 25:11, a verse of competing strengths. And he will spread out his hands in the midst of it as a swimmer spreads his hands out to swim. But the Lord will lay low his pompous pride together with the skill of his hands. Anything man does with his own hands, insomuch as it is not compatible with the progress of God's plan and purpose, and insomuch as the owner of these hands works pride against the Lord's hands will answer with a much stronger skill to bring about his purpose despite man's efforts. Isaiah 28:25 is one that foreshadows with this agricultural principle, and we will see this later with an eschatological imagery that God has plans to do the same geographically. When he has leveled its surface, does he not scatter dill, sow cumin, and put in wheat in rows and barley in its proper place, and emmer as the border? Yes, God uses his ways and means to perform his ways and means. As we hear in Isaiah 45:1, thus says the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have grasped, to subdue nations before him, and to loose the belts of kings, to open doors before him, that gates may not be closed. God uses Cyrus as a tool to perform his doings, just like he used Pharaoh, and he uses so many others. When we can get that global omnipotent hand of God making a difference in the affairs of mankind, sometimes using high and mighty kings to accomplish his task, we can more easily imagine that whatever means he chooses, that he can also make changes to the earth according to his plans and justice. Isaiah 49:11, and I will make all my mountains a road, and my highways shall be raised up. And when you drill down deeper into these passages, they will reveal this leveling is way more deep than we may have covered in these passages. And the passages mean more than I am able to expose in a short video, or a long video for that matter. It's the Isaiah 55:8-11 principle. Finally, I'm going to throw in one from the New Testament, which is a quote from Isaiah 40. When mountains are brought down to meet the plain and the crooked roads stretched out straight, this is the leveling that the Lord had in mind. And this is a reference to John the Baptist, whose ministry was one-track minded, and that is to announce and make way for the Messiah. Luke 3:4. As it is written in the book of the words of Isaiah the prophet, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight.